Alright, let's hide that. Let's get the score up. Swap these players around. Welcome back to the Lone Star Clash number 3, guys. I'm not sure where we're at in the brackets because they hopped on the broadcast a little bit late, but regardless, it's a best of 3 between 2 fantastic players. Spawning here in the lower left corner of the map, recently joining Prime, the Blue Protoss States, who, according to Twitter, confirmed handsome. And his opponent in the upper right, playing for Axiom Esports, the Red Terran Heart. Okay, so what we saw that game out of States, I think kind of felt like a little bit of indecision and forced, I guess, tech path, if it were. What ended up happening is, of course, whether he was gearing up for Blink to go for an all-in or whether his timings were just off, Hart came across the map with an army that was quite scary. And transitioning into a tech path that normally you would try to start with throws off all those timings. Storms don't hit early enough, Zealots aren't out soon enough, and the upgrades, of course, are not level 3 when your opponent's still in level 1 weapons. So for State, that didn't really work out just from the get-go. Nothing that he did I felt was wrong, because after he got going with that tech path, he made the right unit composition, he had so many Templar available. But as we saw, the reason this kind of fell out of fashion is because with a couple good EMPs and really good control, a Terran player can deal with Templar before Storms become too out of hand. Now granted too, it's worth noting State may or may not be experiencing a tiny bit of lag while this is going on. For those who don't know what network spikes are, if you're ever in game, Control Alt F, and it'll show you your stats here in the top left, and if you see network spikes, it's because you're lagging. So that's what he meant when he was saying it about like 5 spikes per minute. That's pretty bad. Typically, like, you want 1 or less. Either way, though, Hart, of course, not to take any credit away from him, does not like lag cost State that game, but Hart did play that pretty beautifully. He went for these earlier Raxes to get a lot of Marines out in the field, and this is what I was talking about as well, where when it comes to his TVP, he doesn't really slack in that regard. He doesn't try and play greedy. He staves off getting like the factory and the medevacs in order to get enough Marines out to either hold off combination Blink Stalkers, maybe early DTs, or even an Oracle. It's not easy when you're playing blind as well. Because do remember, his Reaper got almost no information that game until already the Stalkers had been revealed, until already Blink was halfway completed. A little bit of a scuffle. What's up, dudes? How you doing? We'll see if he goes for the Engineering Bay block. Hart has been a little bit favored in doing this. There's a lot of advantages to going for the Engineering Bay block. Of course, the big disadvantage if you lose out a lot of minerals in the early game, but with the Zealot already being here and not cancelled, he's not probably going to go for it. Well, I was going to say, unless he's really greedy, but coming back with the SCV, he's just going to retreat for the time being. Now, this is curious, seeing the Zealot out like this already. Oftentimes, what ends up happening is a player like State will build the Zealot to about, say, 80% completion. If there's nothing in his natural base, if he doesn't have to worry about tearing down an Engineering Bay, he'll cancel it in order to get a slightly faster Nexus out. But, as we saw, he definitely let it complete. A little bit worried about what Hart could have done there. Habitation Station as well, it's still kind of newish. I think at this point with WCS Season 2 already being in fruition, we've all seen enough of it to get a good feel for it. For those of you who don't like to explore the Easter eggs or don't do it normally, let me show you the one on Habitation Station, or on Overgrowth. There is a fully equipped kitchen on both sides of the map. Come equipped with kitchen sink, fridges, and meat. Let's not forget the dinner plates and the settings and the tables. And they're on both sides of the map. And I love Easter eggs. I love sharing them. So here's the one for Overgrowth, guys. Now what we see Hart doing right now is checking around. He may not have been able to get into the base to scout, but make sure that there's no proxy starports. Another common location is down over here. Checks behind the mineral lines at the 3rd. Make sure everything is safe and sound and good to go. And as we see, the 3 barracks is coming up once again, and this is perfectly fine, because this will time out his tech just nicely. Again, his gas gets cut for a little bit to make this happen, in order to time out Stim perfectly, but he goes for Stim first, not concussive shells. And when you play blind like this, well, actually, that Reaper going in for another scout, didn't catch that, 2 HP, barely alive. But when you play blind like this, again, Stim's going to be your best choice. If you want to push early, you'll go concussive shells. If you are worried about a blink coming your way, or not catching that Oracle in time, you go for Stim. Regardless, Stim is going to be good to have, bottom line. Now, of course, as he gets his gas count back up, he's going to have to start picking... Okay, there we go, combat shields. I was going to say, between either throwing down that factory or furthering his tech. He has kind of staved off going for the Engineering Bay, which means, unfortunately, he's not going to have turrets down. And if this was DTs or fast Oracle, maybe he could get caught a little off guard. But that's not going to happen. not out of state, who is playing pretty standard this time. The Robo Facility going to get out that Observer real quick. And oh, is he really going to go for the charge again? He's doing that in that Forge here, so he's definitely going to get upgrades underway. If he goes for weapons, it's definitely going to be geared towards more Colossus and Blink, but if he does go for the armor, the only reason to go for armor first would be for getting a lot of Zealots, getting that sort of frontline buffer up. We'll see what he ends up doing. Some Protoss players, of course, try and play a little bit greedier and they'll go for double Forges, but State sticking with the 1 makes me really curious what he plans to do. 3 Stalkers out like this is not too crazy, but it is early enough that if Hart scouts this, he may think Blink, he may just think, okay, wait, the timing on this is off. You've spent way too much time saturating your natural if he sees this many probes, and it will be armor once again out of state. So this is, I don't know, this isn't a bad thing to do. Ooh, that's a really sexy looking logo. Sorry, I haven't actually seen that in game yet, because there's also the Blizzard one that was, yeah, there we go, Blizzard Entertainment. But the charge lot, this style really fell out of fashion. But ooh, hark, wait, that's a Robobay coming down with a Twilight Council. I was going to start meandering on about how charge was going to come, and storms were going to be delayed, and timings would all be off, but if he's just going to go with Colossus with armor first, that's not something you see as often, I would say. I mean, it's not like it's a bad choice. Armor's always going to be good. Marines hit for so little, they just hit really fast. So if you've got a lot of armor, I guess you're really cutting out a good chunk of the damage of your opponent, but we'll see what he ends up... it's got to be Colossus at this point. You don't throw on a Robo and transition into Templar. But Stimodon in here, he might just go for the Nexus. This is a lot of Marauders. This is a lot of Marines. And when the overcharge is good, he's going to get the Nexus and he can back out of here. A couple force fields might awkwardly catch some of the army. They will catch some of the army, but Hart quickly controls them and moves them to the right. Going to take out a Zealot with him, maybe a Sentry or 2 if he's lucky. No concussive shells means no kiting. But that base snipe, that is the definition of bold, because he throws away in his entire army pretty much in hopes of shutting down his opponent. Now, yes, there's Marines across the map, but if you guys can imagine Colossus en route rather than haven't been started, all of a sudden Marines are not that scary. The Marines just simply do not deal with Colossus. I kind of feel like Colossus kind of walk up to Marines and they're just like, just like kick him out of the way with the legs. It's not even worth using the laser beams on a lot of the time, but yeah, it's only on the way here, so it's not being rushed out by any means. Blink associated with this is going to be fantastic for the Viking production, if and when that gets going, but even losing a couple Marines here and there, this is not something Hart can really afford to do. If he had Medivacs out, this is a different story, because then he starts dropping, he starts harassing, but even off of 1 base economy, much less 2, State can't really afford to delve too far into this Colossus tech. It's going to eat up all of his resources, which means he's not going to be warping in, say, 10 layers of Zealots, a bunch of Sentries, and more importantly, Stalkers to buffer. But again, with the Medivacs coming out a little bit delayed, a little bit later, it's not like Hart can start dropping right away, catching him off guard. There are some times in the early game too, before Thermal Lance completes, where Colossus have the same range as a Marauder. You can drop 4 Marauders, you can drop 8 Marauders, you can tear Colossus down. But I don't think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon here at Hart. He does have these 2 Medivacs coming, and there's a lot of dead space in the main, but State has this covered. He's got full vision of his base. Man, that was so cool though, that Nexus snipe. I wasn't sure he was going to get it. That's oftentimes just like, you know, you bait the overcharge from back. But Medivacs are revealed with that Observer, so State already moving into position. This drop is probably going to be picked up right away. Yeah, he scouts that with a Marine too, so doesn't really lose too much for it. 1 Heroic Marine and Heroic Marine. English, right? Trying to knock down this 3rd. Not going to happen anytime soon. And of course the factory floating over here to scout. This is a bit curious. We did see Widow Mines produced last game. He's not using the factory this time, which means he's not going to have Widow Mines to buffer for the army. And for State, that's an immediate read of like, hey, maybe I should make some Zealots. You're not going to be able to deal with them so easily. Widow Mines have kind of become the easy mode answer, but, you know, charge lots are a long way off. He doesn't have the money to do it. Again, he spent so much rebuilding the Nexus. Not that he really lost many or any probes while this was going on. That's a lot of gateways coming in now. I don't know if he's got the economy to warp in off of what's soon to be 7 gates, 8 gates. He's going to spend a lot of that in Colossus and furthering their production, of course, but with 2 available and Thermal Lance completing here in just a sec, actually with 3 available soon, this base might, yeah, actually get saved. But trying to catch his opponent off guard, catches one of the reinforcing Colossus. This is a little bit awkward, as these Colossi are actually heavily out of position. Gonna focus fire this one, just stims right into it. The overcharge goes down, the sentries, well, they don't have the force fields to stop this. Another base snipe goes off. Hart is embracing his inner pulse and backs away from this. He got the Colossus, he got the Nexus, absolutely worthwhile. Now this is a little bit awkward. You're not a mineral. You're drunk. Go home. Vikings also out in full force, as if he needs them at this point. One Colossus all available for State. I love the Dark Shrine, though. This will afford him 2 great opportunities. One, oh god, is he going to start proxying Widow Mines? This late in the game? Really? Oh, I may catch him off guard with it. But the Dark Shrine is going to afford 2 great opportunities. One, there's that really stupid saying, and I gotta be honest, I hate it. Win behind Dark Shrine. But it kind of rhymes, so everyone says it. It's good to go. But it's not untrue either. For players like Hart, he might not be expecting DTs. There's that sort of paranoia turret that's meant to catch observers, but there's no detection in the main. A Warp Prism could warp in a ton of DTs and Zealots, get on top of the production, force Hart to stay at home instead of being on this side of the map. And he is going to start proxying Widow Mines. A cannon already comes down, though, so it's just like, Hart, get out of my base. Seriously, what are you doing? But the army supply for Hart is just way out of hand right now. The one nice sort of thing is there's not a lot of medevacs with this, so as he stims, it hurts him quite a bit. But I don't think it's going to matter. The Vikings on the front line. State not looking too good right now. Stalkers playing forward to try and pick them off. They are focusing them down. Force fields will keep the Marauders from stimming on top of the Colossus, but one Colossus falls. Unfortunately forced to back out of this. This base looks like it's going to go down one more time. Rather than going for the base snipe, though, he says, you know what? My army's looking really damn good right now. You have nothing at home. Stims on top of this. Almost gets the Mothership Core. Almost gets the Colossus. Now gets both. One Colossus standing. 4 Stalkers. 5 Stalkers soon to be dead. And this looks like it might just be the end of State. 2-0 in the favor of Hart, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to Hart.